Now we will begin the SPSS. So till now we have completed the survey questionnaire, how to make the survey questionnaire, how to code them, and how to do the data, how to code the answers so that we can enter in the data sheet, whether in Excel or SPSS and so on. Now we will start the data entry and analysis in the software SPSS. One can do in Excel also, but we are doing in this class on SPSS. SPSS is statistical package for social sciences. It has a very easy user interface for many statistical operations. For market research, it is very useful and easy to use software. So we are going to use this particular software which is owned by IBM. I hope you might have downloaded the trial version, right? So if you have downloaded the trial version, you can just open and come to the blank SPSS sheet like this. Now please quickly read what is this problem about. Now this is a study which was conducted when the data was not, easily available as potatoes, tomatoes nowadays, right? It is the time when 2005 around, when the internet, internet facilities were not, on the start, were not extensive as it is today. Today you will get data as cheap as, or cheaper than the potatoes, 1 kg potatoes, tomatoes. So at that particular time, about 15 years back, you have to read that problem in that context. Some of you might be in your schools, if you did not quit. So an internet service provider, it did a study to investigate the determinants of internet usage for personal reasons, non-professional reasons. At that time, the internet was available in the office, and that too for very professional usage. At home, again, it was getting to be available, and an internet service provider at that time wanted to commission a study to find out what determined the internet usage for personal reasons. Why this internet service provider is wanting to do this study? He is wanting to understand that dependent variable internet usage in hours per week. What are the independent variables that explain that? What is the use? What is the use? Tell me. Let me give an alternate example. A green tea production and marketing company. They want to know green tea consumption. What are the independent? What variables explains the green tea consumption? How does it help? How does it help if I know what determines the consumption?
To target promotion accordingly,
to target promotion accordingly, to change the product features, to target the promotions, to reach out to that particular audience, to see why people, what is the reason people are using, what kind of people, how do you identify that target group? So all these questions will be answered if you do such study. You want to know some variables that explain the consumption behavior. Let's say some of you who would end up in financial services would, and if in credit card data division where credit card problem is there, who are the people who do not take credit cards? So you have a dependent variable who do not avail credit cards and their characteristic. What is the reason that they are not or who are these customers and what are these reasons that they are not availing credit cards. Because only when you know who are the people and what are the reasons, you will be able to solve it. Like in this case, green tea consumption, if you know that what explains green tea consumption, as green tea consumption increases, what is the variable that is associated? Let's say as income increases, green tea consumption increases. So which means you will want to sell it to higher income groups because they consume more. Suppose it comes out that those who exercise regularly, they do not consume green tea, for example. Or otherwise it could come those who exercise regularly, they consume more green tea. So you know what to focus, where to focus, target group, promotions, product features. So that is why this internet service provider. So in your project also you would have to pick up certain, what explains customer dissatisfaction, what explains bad reviews, what explains low sales. So you would have certain determinants. When you conduct this survey, let's say for a particular service or a product, you will have dependent variable. You want it to be explained by some independent variables that will give you an answer. What are the reasons or what are the variables that explains that variation in the dependent variable, and then you would be able to understand what is happening. For example, in the case of service quality, we collected data on 6 dimensions: responsiveness, empathy, courteousness, and tangibles and all things. And we want to explain customer satisfaction. And when we run the analysis, we know customer satisfaction is not explained by any of these, but by responsiveness. So which means you have to increase your responsiveness to increase the customer satisfaction. So that is why similar kind of this example is a similar kind of study, but in this case it is more for opportunity utilization. An internet service provider is wanting to determine what explains the internet usage in hours per week for non-professional, personal reasons, so that they could identify who are the people using it more, required it more, and they can make their features and target promotions accordingly. A sample of 100 respondents is drawn randomly from the population, and for illustrative purposes only 30 samples are shown in the sheet number 2. Now table 1 contains the data for 30 respondents. What are the variables, can you tell me, that are written here? How many respondents are there? How many variables are there? 8. Just read how many variables are there. Gender, 1 male and 2, this is how they will be coding. 1 is equal to male, 2 is equal to female. Gender is what variable? Which one? Nominal. Nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio. Right. Gender, next variable is? Tell me.
Internet usage in hours.
Familiarity with the internet, who will tell?
Familiarity.
Familiarity with the internet is next variable. Read the text, don't go down. Don't go down, read the text. First variable is gender, next one is familiarity with the internet. What is this variable, familiarity with the internet? Just read the scale points. Ordinal converted to interval, let's call it interval. You see the 1, 2, 3, 4, familiar, very familiar, unfamiliar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means it is forced interval, it is interval. We'll code it as, treat it as interval. What is the next one?
Hours per week. Attitude. So,
what is this variable? Ratio variable, very good, because origin, there can be absolute 0 in this case. The next one, attitude towards internet. What is the scale points? Both measured on 7-point scale. So there are two variables, attitude towards the internet, attitude toward technology. Both are measured on 7-point scale, 1 to 7. They are interval. The next one, whether the respondents have done shopping on the internet. So how many variables total? Count. 7. 7, right? Why we have written 8?
The respondent number which is
Because always when we enter the data for the respondents, always mark who is the respondent number 1. So the serial number, respondent number, you should write, if it's the physical data sheet, write respondent number 1. Otherwise, you should give them serial number, that this is respondent number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why you give it the identification serial number or personal, this serial number, why you give it 1, 2, 3, 4? Confidentiality could be one of the reasons, very good, that you do not want to put their names. Other reason is, let's say, if some respondents have lied or they have not filled it properly, they have not paid attention, and you are able to catch that, you will have to remove that data point. So you would know who is the respondent you have removed. So first variable, so here the 7 are given, the first variable is the 8th one, the first one, it is always be serial number or respondent number. Whenever you do the data entry, it is not only for SPSS, wherever you will do data entry, first is write the respondent number 1, 2, 3, 4. Respondent number should be identified. Now, there are, what is written, variables 8. So now including the serial number or respondent number, we have 8 variables. And cases, what is cases are the number of respondent. So we also say there are cases. Now we will start the data entry in the SPSS sheet, and this variable information name, this is the format in which we will start the data entry. So let's first go to the SPSS sheet. All of you are on the SPSS sheet? Everybody got their computers? Yeah, okay. So there are two views in the SPSS. When you open the SPSS and comes to a blank sheet, so there is this data view and there is variable view. Data view, where the data, coded data will be entered, and variable, the variable information will be entered. So there are two sheets, data view and variable view. We begin with variable view to tell SPSS data sheet that what are our variables, and then we go to data view and enter the data. So let's start with the data, with the variable name entry. What is the first variable name? What is given in your sheet? Respondent number, name, what is the name given? RES_NUM, respondent number. So enter as it is. Remember, when you do a data entry in the name field, there should not be any space. It doesn't take any space. So name is given, which means first variable is created. Now which all the fields are important to you? Label is important to you, values are important to you, and measure is important to you. Just pay attention to these fields. The other ones, this type is also important. Type means whether your data is going to be numeric data or string data. String data is the data which is in words, symbols, that is not numeric. So all the other things you can ignore at this point of time. So first variable is respondent number. Any label which is given in this? No label, right? But you can still enter label saying that this is the respondent number, although it is not given. What is the position? It is given the first position. If you see, it is the position number 1 which is given. This is the position, first position. And now scale, what is the type of measure? It is 3, it is given: scale, ordinal, nominal. Scale includes both interval and ratio. So if you have a scale variable, if you have interval or ratio, you have to choose the scale, otherwise ordinal, nominal. What is this variable? Nominal, very good. So select the nominal. Now enter the second one. Second one is IUPW. Yes, it is numeric. Right, very good. So it is numeric. Next one is, what is the label? Enter the label. Position number 2, right? And what is the type of measure? Internet usage in hours per week. It was ratio variable, right? So we'll choose the scale. Now the third position, attitude towards the internet, ATI. What is the label? Attitude towards internet, right? And now you have certain values and values labels for the values. So what you have to do is, in this field, value field, click like this and you would have a small box opened. In that box you have to enter the values. Value number 1, what is the label? Very unfavorable, very unfavorable, and click add. Then enter value number 2. Can I do it again? Okay, so there are values given, 7-point scale. For each value of on the 7-point scale, one label is there. So we are telling SPSS that it is a 7-point scale and each value has certain description attached. And we are telling the SPSS that when we click this box, when we click here at the values, you will see this box and enter the values. Value number 1 is very unfavorable. Value 2 is value 3 is value 4 is so when you do your project or any market research, you can make this type of data sheet or this type of basic sheet which can tell you that which position you have to enter what. So once you add all 7, click OK and you have all the values here. So this is how SPSS will understand that this is a 7-point scale. And what it will be, what is the type of measure? Scale, very good, because it is interval. Now what is the next one? Attitude towards technology, ATT. Enter the label. Towards. Now these labels are same as the attitude towards the internet. So what you do, you copy and you can paste. Copy from above and paste and choose the scale. The fourth one is also done. Likewise, complete the data entry for others as well. The next one is familiarity with the internet. Now in this case, the labels are different, so you need to enter again. So once you do that, again select the scale, familiarity with the internet. The next one is gender, name is G and label is gender, values, one is male, 2 is female. What is the gender? What is the type of variable? Nominal, very good. The next one is SOI, label is whether done shopping on internet. Although gender is a nominal variable and we will enter 1, 2, 3, 4, so they are just the descriptors, they don't mean anything. Let's say if we write name, respondent name, then the type we will have to select is string, because the data that we are going to enter is in the words. So SOI, whether done shopping. Whether done shopping on internet. It is again nominal, and next one is whether done banking on internet. So we can copy paste here, change the shopping to banking. And same options are there, yes, no, paste and nominal. So your data entry is complete. Oh sorry, variable entry is complete in the variable view. Once you do that, just let me know.
Sir, blue font. And increase the size maybe to 20 or 30.
Done. So next is, now go to the data view and you will see all your variables created here. At position number 1 there is a respondent number, at column number 1 respondent number. So which means this is the column for entering respondent numbers. Next one IUPW, ATI, all these are created in the order in which you name the variables in the variable view, and you have these 30 data points. Now you have to do the data entry manual. How you will do it? Can somebody help me? Respondent number is given 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The next one IUPW is given, right? Is it understood? Data is given, everybody, and this is the wrong way. You have to think also. Always fill the data first respondent, complete row. For first respondent, all these points. Second respondent, third respondent, don't do like this. So when you get, suppose when you get a paper pen survey, you would have this sheet as a survey field. So you will enter the data for first respondent on first row, second respondent. So enter the data like this. Do not enter like this. Understood? Don't do this mistake. See, here data is given, you can just enter it. Column wise also doesn't make any difference, but I don't want to make it a wrong habit. Enter it respondent, for first respondent enter all the data, second all the data, third all the data, enter like that. Do the data entry, start doing the data entry. And don't do it column wise, please. Done? Is it done? Those who have completed, just raise your hands. Okay. Did you save the file? Save. If you don't save, then nothing will work. So one is here you can click and save this document right now. Maybe do this on your desktop. If you don't save, then no statistical operation will work. Were you missing from one of the sessions? And this is one of the output screen that will appear once you save it. So this output one. So in this output, the results of your statistical test would also appear. So right now you can close it or minimize it, whatever you want. But you save it actually because you will be able to see the output as and when we do the statistical operations. If you look at the exercises, the first thing we had to do was define the variables and complete the data entry. Define the variables and complete the data entry. We have done the first one, right? Data entry completed, right?